Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the atmospheric of our world around us, and I will develop a little bit the topic I presented in my previous English language video, which was entitled Madness from Frankfurt. One can ask how this leftist madness we have now, how it reached West again. I finished my story in the last video that when National Socialists came to power in Germany, such deviants like Adorno, Hockenheim, and Marcuse uh, emigrated mainly to United States, mainly to California, and they found, let's say, their ideas found good soil among the part of Californian intellectuals and academia environment, and they were developing them. But this didn't explain, and it doesn't explain actually, why such ideas since 1960s spread all around the world actually, and especially in a huge part of United States, Canada, and Western Europe. The explanation for this is quite simple. We need to go for a moment to Moscow. Moscow in the 1960s, capital of Soviet Union. There was KGB, and there was a Mr. Director of KGB, Mr. Shelepin. And Mr. Shelepin was not a stupid man. He was, unfortunately for us, he and his team were not stupid men. And they realized in 60s, and especially when in 1961 Sino-Russian split, Sino-Soviet split happened, that China decided to go its own way with the communism, and they didn't want to be dominated by Soviet leadership. So then Mr. Shelepin and others realized, and Soviet military, that the situation is as follows. By military means, they wouldn't be able to defeat the West. They knew it. They were not stupid. Also, they took into account the geography, demography, everything, and also difference in technology, difference in economy as well. Despite the fact they were drowning in the nonsense idea of Marxist pseudo-economy, some of them realized that this model cannot compete with the Western, more market-regulated and more free model in terms of free, not completely free, because free market is also the idea only, but the model in which enterprise and development for people who want to run their business is allowed. They realized that they cannot compete with this model, so they were really thinking what to do. And we know that KGB officers were studying a lot ancient texts, including Chinese classic, like famous Art of War by Sun Tzu, and the stories of warring kingdoms by Zhongguo. And they concluded on the basis of these texts and many discussions and many other texts what to do. Attack what's weak. Make young ones arguing with older ones. So generate the conflicts between generations. And they did it. They noticed that the seed of Frankfurt leftist was already sowed in the West and was slowly germinating, especially at the universities. So with Soviet money, support, and also propaganda showing Soviet Union as an alternative against so-called capitalists, reality, and so on, they gave a boost, really huge boost, to these pseudo-intellectuals and facilitate their march through institutions. That's why academic life and an intellectual life in the West largely was dominated and is dominated still by this type of thinking. And Shelepin and his people in the KGB headquarters in Lubyanka in Moscow, They realized that this is the great idea of making society weak, making society rotten and degraded without any bullet or any cannon bullet used to do it. So you can defend the enemy from inside, attacking what's weak, generating problems, and degrading its morality. Perfectly, this strategy of ideological subversion was presented by Mr. Actually a renegade from Soviet Secret Service, who was working in the Soviet embassy in India. Renegade Mr. Yuri Bezmenov, who revealed in 1984 in famous conversation, you can still find it on the internet, revealed the strategy of ideological subversion. First, there is demoralization. This is the longest phase. Later, things go quite quickly. That's why Mr. Shelepin and others, and now China is doing the same. Because this strategy works, you only need to be patient. Demoralized completely the Western societies to large extent. Why is it so successful? Because somehow it works like this, that one cannot defend moral principles in the typical only logical manner in logical discussion. You can you can always be cornered by sophismatic pseudo arguments that seem to be logic and deny it. So if we start discussing moral principles and social fundaments, we are already lost because people always drift, majority of people, towards easier life. An easier life is life without rules, but life without rules quickly leads people to degeneration. That's why this ideological subversion works very well on the Western countries even after the fall of Soviet Union, because seed of distraction was successfully planted by many pseudo-intellectuals. This is how this neo-Marxism that evolved in Frankfurt in the Weimar Republic came back to the West with great force, thanks to support of Soviet Union, Secret Service, intellectuals and money. This is how it was amplified so successfully that now slowly destroys many countries, not only in the West, but also partially in the Far East, what I mentioned. This is the way how it happened. All the best, have a nice day, bye.